fan. That's right. No marks, only smarks when it comes to Wednesday night. AEW Dynamite continued their TNT title tournament. Is Dustin Rhodes retired to Kip Sabian get him out of the business? Was that something they said they were going to do before they taped this match, or did they just insert it into the completely online digital promotion beforehand? NXT was supposed to have Finn Balor. Then it was supposed to have a different main event, and that main event got changed right before it. Everything's crazy. Oh, also, they have a tournament. Tournaments are all the rage, even though everything's pre-filmed or, in this weird coronavirus period. It looks like we're in a tough time here where everyone wants to give you that lane, the tournaments. It's going to bring you all in, all right? We're talking AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT. I'm Kevin Kellum. This is your WrestleZone post-show. And if you're with us live for the first time, shout out where you're watching from. Get your comments on screen. If you're with us on the podcast side of things, go ahead and subscribe. WrestleZone Radio. You get 4 episodes of WrestleZone Daily like this every single week, plus exclusive interviews. We're having a real cool chat. A recently released WWE superstar is going to be on WrestleZone this week. And let me tell you, this is a guy you're going to want to hear from. All right, I can tell you that's going to be popping up the podcast feed very, very soon. I'm not alone. You can check out the YouTube channel Rest Friends. That's with a W. It's not a friend going to sleep. No, it's your Wrestle Friends. It's Rest Friends. Iridian Firo, how are you doing, Iridian?
I'm good. I'm back by popular demand, Kevin.
Oh, I love that you already know that you're popular. You already know that you're popular. That is so fetch of you. So fetch. It is so fetch. Yes. So I do need to tell you, we do have some regular viewers that were commenting about how much they enjoyed you in the show and said the girl. They couldn't catch your name. They just said the girl, and I had to correct them that we weren't that much of a sausage party. We do have some several female fans watching the show, and I appreciate that as well. Tracy joining us as well. I like that. I like the mixture energy, guys. This is not just the boys yelling at the screen here. Yes, Iridian,
I appreciate
you got to watch.
That's so nice.
Yeah, that is so nice.
That is so nice, guys. Thank you.
You said that very politely, like your friend's mom saying. You are a very nice boy. All right, so Iridian, you watched AEW. I watched NXT. What are your big takeaways tonight from AEW Dynamite? Trending number 1 once again on Twitter, but they lost the last 2 weeks in the ratings by a very thin margin. What did you take away from Dynamite? Was there a little bit more fire in their belly? It was all pre-filmed.
I think there was. The first match was incredible. It was probably my favorite match of the night. That was Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin, and that was to see who was going to face Cody in the semifinals. And that match was phenomenal. Sammy wrestled with only one boot, and Darby Allin had a nosebleed. Yes, one boot. And Darby Allin had a nosebleed. There was blood everywhere. It was insane. But at the end, Darby took it, so it's going to be Darby and Cody. Excited to see that. And then the match that everyone was talking about was the main event. And that was Dustin going to retire? Was Kip Sabian going to put him down? But that didn't happen. So Dustin moves forward. And that maybe I'm thinking that is going to be the finals, Cody and Dustin for the belt. Who knows? They might. I don't know. It's super interesting. But that match was really good as well. We saw Kenny Omega come back. We haven't seen him in a little bit. And Brody Lee had a match. I really love where the Dark Order is going with this. I might join. I don't know, Kevin. How do you feel about the Dark Order?
No, Iridian. You're a nice person. Don't join the Dark Order.
They're driving around in nice cars. They're dressing nice. They're beating everybody up, Kevin. I don't know.
You're taking the bait.
They're persuading me.
Iridian, you're taking the bait. It just sounds like very high school of me for me to hear that you're taking the bait. The bad girls hang out in the bathroom. They smoke real cigarettes and they're trouble. They're all these different things. I want to run with the cool crew. Nobody before Brody Lee was running this thing, before they had an exalted one, they were not an exalted crew. Furthermore, I would say that they were the one thing that a lot of fans were like, nah, real 50-50.
I was so uninterested before Brody Lee came about. And he started cutting these promos, and I was like, wow, this is really good. He's putting on some good matches, and the promos started getting better. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Next week, Brody Lee has a match versus Marco Stunt, who I love dearly. He is like one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW, and I'm very scared for Marco. I know what Marco can do, but I'm very scared. I remember I'm having flashbacks to that Lance Archer match, and I'm terrified.
It's going to be brutal.
Yes.
So tell me about Dustin in this angle. Robert DeFelice, late to the party, joining us here from Tampa Bay, Florida.
Robert!
Robert's going to pop in here in a minute. Robert, thank you for showing up ever so late on Florida time, I guess.
Yeah, we do whatever we want over here.
Again, you didn't get the rest
If you follow the news, Florida does whatever they want. They don't care about science or a pandemic.
Clearly so does Robert.
Well, you know what? We don't need science. We join the Dark Order in this family. Okay. Marco's stunt is going to get killed, and it's going to be just a beautiful time.
No, but Marco Stunt puts up a fight, which is what I love about him. Like, it doesn't matter how big the other guy is. Like, Marco goes for it.
A Chihuahua will put up a fight against a Rottweiler. That doesn't mean that it's going to go well for them. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I cannot believe you compared him to a Chihuahua.
Don't come out Chihuahuas, because we have the Taco Bell Chihuahua in action, Iridian.
We do.
Coming up May 10th, a battle of the fast food mascots. Who will climb up the greasy ladder to get that golden coupon for a world title shot? That's right. We're doing it in video game actions coming up the afternoon of Money in the Bank. We'll be streaming that in the afternoon before. But tell me more about this main event. Robert, you got to catch some of AEW. Iridian, you did. I didn't see a look of it. Am I wrong? Were they advertising Dustin Rhodes in a retirement match more than a week ago? Or was that something you think that was added since this match
was developed over the weekend? It was developed over the weekend. It was announced if Dustin says that if he loses, he's going to quit. And, of course, that's a dead giveaway. He doesn't lose. He beats Kip Sabian, who I was asked my opinion on Kip Sabian, and I said he's modern-day generic, which is good by any standard, but it just, like, there's something missing. There's something off.
Did you think this was something that maybe they intended all along, that they were always going to do this? Or was this like, I was kind of mentioning this to you already, do you think this is a hook they wanted to throw at viewers to make sure in that, because the margin between them and NXT every single week is very thin right now, probably the closest it's been consistently week to week for quite some time, and they've been on the losing side the past 2 weeks, and there's a lot of fans who really, really care and really, really love to say that their AEW beat NXT that week. Do you think this was maybe something they said like, hey, this is already filmed, we have the show in the can, we know what the outcome is, why don't we give them this extra hook where we say there's a possibility Dustin could be retired this week?
No, I think it's Dustin playing up the I'm an old man bit. I'm sure we're going to see this angle quite a few more times. To me, your audience is a smart audience. As soon as you announce Dustin is going to retire if he loses, and you look at the bracket and you go, well, Lance Archer is next in line. You know Dustin's winning. So it takes a lot of the fun out of it for me.
Now, are they going to add something here where if Dustin doesn't win the title, he's retired? Is it that angle? Could it be Lance Archer retiring Cody's brother?
No, it was just an angle to get us through the week. I think Lance Archer tries to murder Dustin Rhodes and then has to face Cody at the pay-per-view. Neck tattoo and all. It'll be neck tattoo versus Murder Hawk. Very weird.
I can't get over that. Yeah, Steve Chambers is predicting that as well. Cody versus Archer. Iridian, how do you feel about this TNT title tournament? Is it? We also have a tournament over with NXT. How do you feel this one's matching up?
I think it's good. I really wanted the final matchup to be Darby versus Sammy, but we got that tonight. But I mean, Cody and whoever wins between Dustin and Lance Archer will be nice too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Any other big takeaways this week from AEW in general? Things you like, things you didn't like? Let me know. Sound off.
We didn't have any women's matches.
Ladies first, Robert. Have some class. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Well, as you just said, we didn't have any women's matches. I didn't think I needed
as I was saying that women were not represented, Robert steals my spotlight to not represent me. How ironic. But yeah, Tony Khan, I don't know, maybe it's because it was, pre-taped, but we didn't have any women tonight. But Trent did mention that he did want to face Penelope. So we might get that in the future. Who knows?
Well, no, he said he can't legally do it, and I don't think they're going to do a lot of intergender stuff. Here's the thing. Britt Baker's been featured on the show like the last 3 weeks, and we know that they're working with the skeleton crew. So the absence of women is because you didn't want to burn through the same matches over and over and over again.
Yeah, and also all these matches were taped in one setting. I assume they're going to try and do as much vignettes or pre-film things or at-home segments. They did that with MJF tonight as well. I got to see that on social. So it's a tough circumstance when you have to do these shows and you don't have some of the critical talent there. We have not seen Nyla Rose on TV in 6 weeks. She's the AEW Women's Champion, and they've done some digital content with her referencing that, so they're not ignoring it. But you have some of the same issues with WWE. We haven't seen Randy Orton since WrestleMania. We haven't seen Edge since WrestleMania. So I mean, there's something to be said for that too. It's a tough time to produce wrestling when there's all these different travel restrictions. Maybe some people feel more inclined to wait until this stuff slows down and come back. Maybe they want to use smaller crews. So I don't blame them for it. Sometimes when you kind of look at that and you realize why someone isn't there, I don't blame people for not being there as much. I blame them for what are you doing with the people you got? So overall, what do you think of this AEW, Robert?
Let me crap on a commenter.
Okay, crap on a comment. Here comes a crapping on a comment tonight. We don't have any jingles, but go ahead, Robert.
Throw out the comment from Rashid Edwards.
Rashid from Fighting Wrestling in Philadelphia, he texts in and he says, they're already doing intergender matches. Nyla Rose is the champion. Robert, I'll give you the soft layup dunk on this one.
All right, so get it. Nyla Rose is transgender. That's the joke. Oh, look at me. I'm so fucking clever because I made a transgender joke.
With the language tonight.
Oh, well, that's fine. Listen, they don't deserve me to be crass here. Look. Nyla Rose is what she is, and people like this are just dragging everything back at least a good 10 years, if not 20 or 30. Grow up, don't be an asshole. Iridian, say something.
Yes, Nyla Rose is the women's champ. She deserves to be the women's champ, and she's killing it as the women's champ, okay? So I think that's enough said.
All right, Robert is changing his lighting to
I know
the makeout
very
lighting.
Fiend.
Yeah, very fiend-esque.
Well, I thought we were going to NXT. I'm getting the Velveteen Dream going.
You're gonna flip over to yellow. But Iridian, what's out of 10? Give me the rating. Let's be hardcore here. Give me a rating. Out of 10, 1 to 10. What's your rating tonight for AEW?
I'll give it a 7. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Robert. Well, are they going to get what are they going to get? A good rating from you in the middle?
Right there for me. They got a 7. I think, Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara had a hell of a match. Go out there and watch it. Darby Allin was biting this man's toes. He was putting on ankle locks. It was a very good match. And, Chris Jericho continues to be a master on commentary. Tony Schiavone should at this point be the lead play-by-play guy for All Elite Wrestling. I'm digging it.
Wait, Robert, are you saying they should not have the legendary good old Jim Ross on commentary?
Didn't say that. I said maybe they should move him to the third chair where you just kind of
to the side,
light paint brushes every now and again. And let Tony Schiavone take the lead because Schiavone is killing it.
All right, fans texting in with their takes of AEW Dynamite tonight. Matt Pessel giving it a 9 out of 10. He really liked it. Jimmy was a little bit not as kind to it as we were. He gave it a 6, and Decarius Jennings texting and said, I give it a 5. So right there in the middle. So NXT tonight. This was a show that advertised Finn Balor versus Velveteen Dream. But we don't know what happened to that match. Shortly before the show started, WWE gets on social media, and they tease that something has happened backstage involving Finn Balor, and they'll have more information very, very soon. All right? And what we find out at the beginning of the show is that his bag is empty, and we don't know where he is, and he's gone. He's disappeared. He didn't no-show because his stuff got here, but he's gone. And we don't know what that is, but people being abducted and missing has been something that's been going on in NXT for quite some time. So our main event that was advertised is gone right at the beginning of the show. And then we get Velveteen Dream with Keith Lee versus Adam Cole and Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era. It's your main event. Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream, they're fighting for the title. Big Keith Lee, he's had some history with Roderick Strong. Sure, why not? But it did seem odd. Do you think it's a bad idea that you advertise the main event and then you kind of pull it away on an angle right away on TV? I was kind of iffy on it, especially at the start of the show. But once they put that tag team main event, I was like, okay, but it still made me go like, yeah, that was a hot match you advertised last week. Is it a bait and switch thing?
100%. What do you think, Iridian?
I was kind of upset that I was going to miss that match, but now knowing that that match didn't happen, I mean, I guess it's all right because I didn't watch it. But that's weird that you're advertising like such a high quality match, and then we get a tag match as the main event at the end of the night.
That's another thing is we'll get to that. That main event didn't even end up being that. It didn't even end up being that. So at least they tried to keep it interesting with a lot of shakeup. So if the match was shook up, they shook it up even more. We got plenty of the NXT title tournament tonight. Very intriguing scenario. We got to see Chelsea Green in a vignette, which I thought was pretty cool. It basically made her feel like an Instagram model with Robert, her manager, the brand manager, kind of shouting her up. I thought that was a cool angle. They did some pre-film stuff with Io Shirai, which I thought was neat. They gave her subtitles. I like when they give the superstars that have English as a second language, they don't push, hey, you got to make sure you get your catchphrase in there. I like that they have superstars doing promos in Japanese and English because they have an international roster, and the show is syndicated internationally. I thought that was kind of neat. And also, they're not out there for like 20 minutes talking. They're out there for like 90 seconds. I thought that was kind of cool. But the title tournament, the NXT Interim Title Tournament, a talking point that has been developing since last week. We had a lot of layoffs in WWE last week. Now, they didn't mention that he was laid off, but Drake Maverick was featured in the tournament tonight. It's in block action, so they'll fight in their individual blocks, Group A and Group B, 8 superstars. Everyone will take each other on. Whoever has the best record amongst the 4 superstars in their group will move on. If they have a matching record, they'll fight in kind of like a tiebreaker. But Drake Maverick's in this match, and he's no longer under WWE contract. Now he does have the 90 days where he's retained, where he does not allowed to compete anywhere else on television, as most WWE release terms have, and he is still getting compensated. So it's not like he's like wrestling for free. Don't let anyone say that. But it's a weird scenario because they're talking up that this is his last opportunity, that this is something he really wanted. And he loses to a upstart in Jake Atlas, who's had some time here in Chicago. And Jake was featured, and they mentioned something about Drake having his last shot. They had a very, very competitive match. A cartwheel DDT off the top rope. Never seen that before. Quite impressive. And every single near fall was just gut-wrenching when they went to go pin Drake Maverick, because this is literally his last few matches in WWE, and he got pinned. And they even mentioned it in a promo. Are they poking a bear they shouldn't poke by kind of stirring up emotions with Drake Maverick? And he's been released. If you know this, if you know what's going online, you know what's going on. If they're going to do any of those kind of wink, wink, we know you're smart fan type angles, they're going to do it on NXT.
I would hope that if they're doing this, it would mean that they're going to maybe bring him back possibly if they keep mentioning it so much. Because if not, I feel like that's just kind of like a shitty thing to do. It's just to keep mentioning it, and like this guy has no chance because he's already been let go.
Or he has a limited chance at best. So I mean, he has 2 more matches in the block competition. If he loses all of them, he's out. But they certainly played it up tonight. They certainly mentioned it. They did an interview with him afterwards where he says, I'm not just competing against someone else in the ring. I'm competing against myself, and maybe everyone was right. That was very much like playing on the emotions of something here.
Well, let's go back even further. They had him on the bump. They flat out asked him about being released on the bump. Like, he's going with, I need to win this title to keep my job. because they're going with he's been released. I think in wrestling, sometimes they say you worked yourself into a shoot. I think they shot themselves into a work here. I think whoever fired him didn't realize that they had announced him for this tournament. Now they got money on their hands and they're not letting him go. I don't think he leaves.
They've done this before. They've taken real life situations and have spun them into angles that have really interested fans. We saw it in 2005 with Matt Hardy and Edge, and the whole real life situation where Edge and Lita had a relationship that was separate from what Matt thought he had with Lita, and that was 100% legit. That was a real thing, and that got willed into a storyline. Some people thought it wasn't super fulfilling, but we've seen this done before. It's been done in WCW. They've done a little bit in All Elite with Cody and Dustin and a little bit of that. Other people think it's a bad idea. It made me care a lot more about this match than a lot of other things on the show. Not to say that the rest of NXT was bad, but did I ever care about Drake Maverick nearly as much as I do? No, and they got me. So it's a pretty good hook. Can't deny it. Let's see what fans are thinking here. James is texting in, said maybe they're letting Maverick gimmick play out, trying to keep him and letting to see if the gimmick gets over with fans. Well, I can tell you it's over because AEW was trending #1 in the United States. WWE NXT was trending #5, and in the top 20 was Drake Maverick. His name, and that means something in 2020. If a show's on air and people are saying your name a lot on the internet, that's 2020 over in some way or another. Do you think he has a shot at winning the tournament?
No.
Wow, always so pessimistic, Robert. But yeah, I mean, I would hope that he does. I would hope so.
Yeah, I would hope it, or at least gets close.
I think he's got a shot at keeping his job, so that's better than nothing. But I don't think Drake was meant to win this tournament. I think if anything, this tournament belongs to Kushida, who will then go on to merge the belts with Jordan Devlin whenever the world is normal again, which at this point looks like about 2022. And then we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Kushida was successful tonight, defeating Tony Nese. Pretty strong match here. Gentleman Jack Gallagher was also in action, but he was not successful. The debut of El Hijo de Fantasma on NXT. Fantasma was pretty strong. Got a pretty valiant luchador promo. I will win the title. I am a luchador. And also, we've been seeing this on NXT the past few weeks, that van drives up when you're in the parking lot and there's guys in masks and they grab people and they pull you in their van, and Phantasma fought off the Lucha Cartel goons. He did not get the old school kidnapping treatment.
Well, thank God somebody is smart enough to fight off the goons in the mask, because I've noticed that they're just like going about this whole thing of going, okay, I'll go with you. Because that's the safest thing to do, kids. Do not get in the back of the van. And these guys are
Don't talk to strangers.
These guys are just jumping right in the back of the van. What, you have candy? I'll go with you. I mean, DJ Z, not the smartest guy, I guess. But looks like we've got a babyface luchador. I think this is going to lead to the debut of the former King Cuerno from Lucha Underground, who is in NXT as Jorge Bali. I think that might be his real name, not sure. But whenever the world goes back to normal, I think that's what we're looking at.
In other parts of NXT, we got an at-home romantic dinner between the real-life married couple of Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano. They cut these kind of promos where they would switch from being happy to very, very dark, and the tone of the music would be different. And they tease that they will be the first power couple, the first real married couple to be NXT Women's Champion and NXT Champion together. I thought that was an interesting angle. They're evil now. Candice LeRae has changed her hair, which, Iridian, you and I have spoken about this. If a female wrestler changes their hair, that may as well be they may as well be turning babyface or heel. If your roots are a different color, your character
That's it. You're a different person. That's it.
You're completely new. So if I'm a baby face because I'm bald, I'm a baby face for life because I got no other option.
No, you're dyeing your beard, Kev.
But what if I shave my beard? Then I'm going heel, right?
Yes.
Robert, how do you feel about that?
No, I think the growing of the beard is a sign of like ruggedness, and I'm angry. I'm going to be scruffy. When you shave, you got that baby face,
it,
and then you're a baby face.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'm heel. I'll heel on Robert all the time. It doesn't matter.
According to some of the people in the comment section, you are because you stand up for WWE.
I'm a heel because I stand up for wrestling, Robert.
He stands
I'm not
up for wrestling,
WWE. I'm pro wrestling. That's what I am. You got to talk about this main event angle. We were supposed to get this tag match: Keith Lee, Velveteen Dream versus the Undisputed Era. Bobby Fish gets thrown out of ringside before the match even starts. There's a brawl. All right, we got Big Keith Lee doing the Mongolian chops on people, double hands. All right, then his upcoming opponent for the NXT North American title attacks him, Damian Priest, and he gets shot in the throat. Seeing a big man cough on television right now is not a great thing here, but he got attacked in the throat. Maybe they could have attacked any other part of the body except the throat, but watching a wrestler cough on television, I know, a weird thing. A few months ago, you would have been like, oh, his throat's been attacked, wrestling, whatever. Now, a little uncomfortable, but that's nitpicking, by the way. So he's out of there. So now it's Dream versus two guys. Out of nowhere, this new serial killer character they have, Dexter Loomis, a man whose gimmick is he just stares at you. And it works. All right? It works imagine a creepy person on public transit. That's his gimmick. All right? And he has a lot of muscles and he's creepy. All right? So he gets in there. He clears house. I don't even know if he's a part of the match. It was very, very confusing. But I enjoyed it. Didn't love it. Enjoyed it. Overall, I give NXT soft 7. Almost a 6.8. A soft 7. I thought it was really, really good. Wasn't nearly as exciting as last week, but the stuff with Drake Maverick is the story to follow, I think, on NXT. I wanted a little bit more Killer Cross. We did get a vignette with him that featured Scarlett Bordeaux a little bit more tonight. And we didn't get any of Tommaso Ciampa, which I'm okay with. But I could take it. Now, overall, pretty strong night of wrestling. Moving ahead here, I do want to remind you, if you're just joining us, we will be dropping a very, very big interview on WrestleZone.com in the podcast feed as well this week with one of the recently released WWE superstars, and he has a lot to say about his future and where you will and will not see him wrestling or performing or entertaining. So overall, where do you see things going here, people? What are you excited about in the weeks ahead leading into Money in the Bank, climb the corporate ladder, die hard in a wrestling ring?
I have no idea where this is going to go. This is insane. Everyone that I've talked to is pretty excited about it, just because it's going to be in the corporate building and they're going to destroy everything. But I'm excited to watch it. I wasn't excited to watch it before they announced that this was like the stipulation for it. So we'll see.
I heard a lot of backlash against it because people are saying, "Oh, it's so lousy that you're announcing this climb the corporate ladder match right after you released." Like,
the wording is not perfect, right?
No, it is not. But you released not like nearly 40 wrestlers and agents, and a lot of other production people got let go too. So that's worth saying. But plenty of these people are expected to come back at some point, and they're already making an angle out of one of these people being released. But you know about it, right? So we learned a little bit more, Robert, and you have some details about this already being taped. So this is an interesting scenario where WWE's doing television live this week. Then they're going to tape some stuff, but the pay-per-view has already been filmed. Am I correct?
Well, the portion of the pay-per-view that takes place out at WWE HQ has already been filmed. Yes, this is a Fightful Select story, and it basically, the matches were filmed. They got a little dicey. Over there in Stamford. But overall, Kev, these matches are going to be special, and my guess is you never see them ever again.
Is there something about these matches that you've learned that makes it why we may never see them again? Did someone break a countertop in the lunchroom? What happened?
Well, without saying too much,
What's the
Come
tea,
on,
Robert?
spill
What's
it.
the tea?
Say it.
Say it.
Oh, I
Say
can
it.
tell
Say it.
you that the filming was said to be tedious and a lot of hurry up and wait. So
Oh, okay.
lots of cinematic filming, lots
Oh.
of,
A traffic jam. What you're
yeah.
describing is a traffic jam. Yeah, come on.
Also,
Yeah, no spoilers. We're not giving away spoilers, by the way.
I'll say this. Also, there was a hiccup that caused filming to stop for an undetermined period of time, but it was eventually settled. And that's all I could say on the air.
Oh. Was it a hiccup or was it a cough? And then someone had to go to the doctor and check.
Iridian. What alarmist point to make.
Was it?
It might have been
As you're sipping, did this happen? Did this
might
happen?
have been a pretty
What was it?
a pretty gross cough that might have just stopped everything in its tracks.
Yeah. But we will get two matches. We'll get one with the women, one with the men. Someone asking here, do you see two separate matches or will they let all of them go at the same time? Is it like, how is this going to work? Is it going to be like a race? Is it like everyone at their marks? Now run into the building. Like, how are they going to do this?
What's to say someone's not going to take the elevator just all the way up and that's it? Like,
are elevators allowed? What are the rules? Like,
elevators are allowed. It's not like the elevator is going to take you to the briefcase. You still got to get in a ring and then climb up a ladder.
Do we see some? We've been talking about shenanigans that you could do in the building. I heard someone text this, and I was in a group chat, and someone said, "I want this to happen." And they posted a link to the infamous, I think it was one of the Captain America Marvel movies, where they have this incredible fight scene in the closed space of an elevator. I want to see a big fight scene inside of an elevator. I want to see, like, the two biggest people they could possibly say in an elevator. Also, do need some opinions about this. Apparently, Nia Jax is once again under the internet smart mark heat lamp that is she's hurting people in the ring again. It has not been completely confirmed, but Kairi Sane for the second week in a row was in the ring with her in a Money in the Bank qualifier match. She was not successful. Nia Jax winning that match using her power and size over Kairi Sane. Second week in a row she defeats her. Jax in the Money in the Bank match, but a lot of fans online were critical of Jax for, once again, quote-unquote, injuring or being too rough with Kairi Sane. You guys got to see the match. What was your take of it?
What would your take be if you saw a woman the size of Nia Jax throwing around a woman the size of Kairi Sane? It looks scary. Am I wrong, Iridian?
No, I was pretty terrified, especially because Kairi just let out this crazy scream as she hit the turnbuckles. I was like, "Oh my god, Kairi's gone! Like that's it."
Wow. You were talking about that choke bomb spot she did.
Yeah, where she threw her and Kairi flew into the air. Yeah, but anytime I go on Twitter, it's just people saying "Oh, this is a list of all of the people that Nia has injured," and I'm just like, "Relax, okay, relax." Like you don't even know what happened.
You don't even know.
I think a lot of that is because Nia's like, "Hey, Ronda's dangerous. Watch me throw Kairi Sane." It's like she's asking for it to an extent because she keeps going back to the Ronda well when she's not the safest performer, or at least to the naked eye. I can't say that. I'm not in the ring with her, but to the naked eye.
That's a match I would watch.
No, it probably goes
Robert versus Nia Jax.
It probably goes well as the Kairi Sane thing, but I just don't know. I feel like Nia can be a little dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
There are some moments everyone talks about her breaking Becky's nose, but that was also said to have been an accident. Things happen, but
it's not ballet. How many times have we heard that? It's not ballet, right?
But it is because it's like a choreographed dance. It's weird analogy to use when it is a choreographed sport.
Mm-hmm. True. All right, you guys ready for a couple questions here? It's super interactive, so we always want to do that. We always want to keep people engaged. This isn't a podcast at you. This is a podcast with you. And once again, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to us on the podcast feed, WrestleZone Radio. You get hours of the shows, 4 WrestleZone dailies a week. The survey says review shows. That exclusive interview with a recently released WWE superstar. That's all coming up. And can I say this? We're developing an even more astounding new weekly show. All I can tell you is it's a game show. That's all I can say. And the 2 people on screen could be competing in the game show, and they could be competing for one of you watching at home or on your phone. All right, so that's coming up in the future. So if you're a regular viewer or listener, it's something to keep your eye on.
Are you suggesting I'm finally going to win some money for participating in the show today?
You're going to win street cred, Robert. Street cred.
Street cred. You're not allowed to go out on the street, but you're going to win some street cred.
Well, we've talked yesterday about my affinity for cash, so I just wanted to
Did
check.
you hear this? Did you hear this already? And you weren't with
heard
us.
That.
Robert, he runs around with another wrestling website when he's not with WrestleZone because he can't keep it lone with WrestleZone.
Yeah, he's not.
No. He's polyamorous in his pro wrestling meeting. He says, "No, I'm monogamous to money." That's what he said.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the line of the week. Line of the week. All right, let's get into some questions here. I do want to remind you, Rest Friends on YouTube and the podcast. They can get it. Where can they get it? Everywhere?
Anywhere you can listen to podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, anywhere, and restfriends.com.
We're not even on Spotify, Kevin. They're ahead of us.
We gotta get on. We gotta get on top of that. We're not hip. We're not cool. We're not with it. This question: did MVP not get fired? Well, MVP retired in January, but then was used this week on Raw. I don't think in January they knew that they were going to need to use any wrestler they have present for a match. I think that's why you saw MVP in the ring this week, and he put over Apollo Crews. That's why I think you saw him. So nothing really there. I want to get into these questions here. Where is it? Here we go. William T. Wages. Is Roman Reigns done with WWE? Iridian? What is going on? Roman didn't want to compete at WrestleMania due to the COVID-19 outbreak. He was billed to have a huge match with Goldberg, but due to his health history with leukemia, he said it wasn't a risk he wanted to take. And the word is we're not supposed to say Roman's name. That's what the WWE officials have apparently told commentary. No more Roman mentions. But what do you think? We see Roman sooner than later, right?
He literally just beat cancer, and I don't think he's going to be risking his life over here for some Rona and for a WWE appearance. So I think once all of this is done, we'll get him back. He's, WWE loves him. Vince McMahon loves him. So Roman Reigns.
Yeah. All right. Hey, smartass down in Tampa. What do you think?
First of all, I am not Roman Reigns. I'm not here. I don't know who this smartass in Tampa you're referring to is, but since I guess you're talking to me, Roman, of course, isn't done with the company. I don't know how to not dismiss that question while answering it because it's a serious time and Roman Reigns did the right thing. The man has twins. If they're not already born, they're on the way. And he's got these will be his 4th and 5th child. He can't just go out there and run around and be like, I got to have a 2-minute match with Goldberg. I need to risk the lives of my family for a 2-minute match with Bill Goldberg. So, Roman will be back when everything goes back to normal. So it's only going to be about 3 years. We got this, guys. We can wait.
All right. Herman Takar texting in saying, what company, I guess wrestling promotion, do you see guys like Rusev signing with? We've been talking about this for almost a week now. Several WWE superstars are on the market. I don't know how open the market is for new wrestling talent to be signed up by a television company. Obviously, a lot of people were expecting the Revival to go to AEW if they haven't already, and what their name may be. But Rusev is going to be somewhere. If he's not with AEW, he's going to be in New Japan. If he's not with them, he's going to be in Ring of Honor or MLW. He's going to be on television wrestling, I would say, at some point before the end of the year. But remember, some of these guys, depending on what their deals are, most of them have a 90-day non-compete. Iridian, where do you see a Rusev ending up here?
Oh man, I don't know.
Where do you want
everyone on Twitter was like, all the WWE people should go to AEW, and I'm like, guys, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. But I do see Rusev maybe going to New Japan. I know, like, Gallows and Anderson are like maybe headed that way. So who knows? I think New Japan would be good. Ring of Honor too.
I think Ring of Honor is going to scoop up a couple of these guys. I think they're in the position where maybe some of these guys still want to be on television. Maybe those spots aren't there at AEW. Maybe the type of spot they would have at AEW is kind of already taken up in terms of whatever the role is. Specifically for the women, I would say the women have a better shot. I know Sarah Logan is reportedly could still come back in WWE. But I know Deonna Purrazzo, it seems like she's all but going to show up in Ring of Honor. She has a relationship with Marty Scurll. He's at the top of Ring of Honor. He's booking it. That's not a wrong assumption to make here. Other questions here. Scott George bringing up the Revival here. I saw on their Twitter page the Revival is going to be called the Revolt. What do you think of this name? Just trying to phonetically keep it as close to the Revival as possible?
They're not going to be called the Revolt. I don't know if I don't want to step on any toes here, but money says that that's not happening. They're FTR, and that's what they are.
Okay, they're FTR, and that's what they are.
They're just keeping the letters FTR? Okay.
Well, I'll say, they did the whole Fear the Revolt promo, and then this indie tag team, which has been going by Revolt, got super upset, and then I think it was determined that they would just be FTR from them.
All right, more questions kind of coming in here. Here we go. How bad is NWA hurting right now? Is it true they might not move forward? NWA is one of the big breakout stories of the wrestling year. They had a very novel concept last year when they said, we're going to do our shows in an old school pre-tape format in a television studio with less than 150 fans. It's going to look and feel like something straight out of the early 80s or 70s. It looks like those things. It feels like all of those things. Some of the wrestling is just fine wrestling, but the presentation is really unique, and the show stood out being on YouTube for free. I've always enjoyed watching it, but they are in a tough position here with so much talent thinned out, so many stay-at-home orders, but they film in Georgia, and Georgia looks like they're letting a lot of things go on right now. I think they could be one of the first shows in front of live fans, televised once again in front of live fans, if they play their cards right. But we're not reporting that, just speculation. What do you think, Robert?
Are they hurting? Billy Corgan has a net worth of $50 million. I don't think they're hurting if Billy Corgan doesn't want them to hurt. That's my answer to that. Will they do shows? No, I don't think they do shows until everybody's opened up because they have common sense and they're not chasing a dollar because Billy Corgan has a net worth of $50 million and we don't have to play those games. What do you think, Iridian?
Yeah, unless they want to do shows with, no fans, because I still think you won't be able to, have big groups of people together like that. Then I don't think they're going to continue until everyone can do wrestling with fans.
I got to agree with you there. And if I mentioned this when this started, that I thought the smaller companies would be hurt by this. NWA of the televised companies is on the smaller end in terms of just size, operation, roster, merchandise, all those different things. And they're one of the companies that basically suspended production. I mean, they put out a new episode of NWA Power with Camille having her first match and hearing her speak for the first time. She is certainly one of their featured attracted performers, and I think they tried to do something unique there. And they were already in kind of like a, hey, we put out stuff every now and then. We're going to put out new shows for the next 6 weeks, and then you're not going to hear from us for a month. So they kind of had a format that lent themselves to being away for a while, but they're a brand that I don't think can be away for long before people tend to forget about it. We don't want that to happen here. So that's where we are tonight with wrestling. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're staying safe, washing your hands, and keeping positive. The curve is going to get bent like a bar in the hands of Hercules Hernandez. All right, we're going to do this together. All right, and we hope you're enjoying all the content we have for you from WrestleZone.com on YouTube. If you're watching us there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, even on Facebook as well, so it helps more people see the show. Thank you so much for supporting everything. Once again, give Iridian and the great people at Rest Friends a follow as well. Robert, I know you're busy. Where are you busy? Go ahead.
I'm way too busy. SmackDownMoment.com, because I don't just do the two that I always mention on this show. We just did the recap of Money in the Bank 2010, and those two ladder matches We just did. We're going to do hot tags of the week on Friday, and then check out Fightful Select and Fightful during the weekend. You guys know the deal. Sean Ross Sapp, he works hard.
Why did you have to say his name? I thought we would get to your Fightful plug.
I say his name. I say his name just to annoy you, Kevin. That is the
You say. Hey, the word is that we're not supposed to say Roman Reigns' name on WWE television, right? Because of his apparent transgressions. I'm going to say this right now, Robert. The name Sean Ross Sapp is banned on WrestleZone Daily. Banned on the WrestleZone Radio podcast feed. I will mute your microphone if I hear the vowel, the syllable, sure, click, gone. All right? This is a man who wanted to brain control you and get you to attack me and spray the Fightful logo on my back. You're my tag team partner, and now I always have to look over my shoulder and know if you're going to be in my corner.
Well, you know what? I am in your corner because I'm a loyal person first here, Kevin. I just have a lot of loyalty to go around. You see, that's what it is. That's what it is. But I think really you should follow Rest Friends because it's a different spin. You're tired of hearing a bunch of smarky, loud guys talk about wrestling. Go listen to some ladies talk about wrestling for a change. It's a different vibe.
You need some grace.
It's a great. You're gonna be our new manager.
Oh, good.
We need a manager. You're a manager now.
More responsibility and potential money for me. I like that.
And we also can't pay you. Sorry.
It's about the money. It's about the money already. And check your account separate to him. Make sure he's not taken off the top. All right. Yeah. All right.
I'll double check every night.
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Kev Kellam, KEVKELLAM. Also, I was just featured recently on the Jen Weigel show on WSAM.com. Did a great segment there. Every Tuesday, you guys can hear me on that show. Go subscribe to the podcast. It was a pretty cool podcast. They actually talked about a paranormal issue in the woods of Wisconsin. Ooh. And then I told you what TV shows to watch, and none of it had anything to do with wrestling. So if you just like me, you guys can check that out as well. We will be back tomorrow with an extra big, long show to end the week. We'll be streaming you if you're with us on the Facebook side later in the afternoon. And, of course, the podcast will pop up later after that. Robert, you do the sign up, but Iridian, I think you know that we don't just watch wrestling. When we get there, we open up our minds. We calm down. All right. We stop trying to be a smartass and mention people from other websites. All right. And what's the one thing we do when we watch wrestling?
You enjoy it. You enjoy wrestling. Robert, don't say anything. I saw your hand up.
Say anything. Don't say anything, Robert. We got to sign off.